So a lot has happened in the last 2 weeks since that video. Level Cards ended up sending me a giant care package to help spread cards around my community. And the Elestrals community manager, Hat, watched the video and reached out to me directly. I didn't think that video would reach that far up into the Elestrals pipeline since most videos of that nature get ignored by the Big Four. But I really appreciate that they were willing to listen and help workshop some ideas to improve the situation in the West Coast. This video is going to be where I think the core focus needs to be to help Elestrals grow as a whole, not just in the West. Some things I alluded to in the previous video, and some things that I discussed with my local store ambassador and Hat himself, to just give my overall thoughts of what I would like to see improve so the game grows as a whole. Number 1. Clash. Let's get the big one out of the way. I am not bringing up these issues as an attack on the Pixel Board team. I'm sure they're hard at work trying to fix other issues with Clash right now, but I believe these are the major issues holding back the program. The problems start here as soon as you launch the game and log in. There should be an option to ask if I've played Elestrals before. I just go over the UI changes as a refresher if I'm a veteran player. There's also currently a massive bug where if you're going through the tutorial directly and you miss Enchant Spirits, you get soft locked in the tutorial and have to make a whole new account out of it. Once you've done that, you're immediately thrown into a ranked game with the deck that provides you, which is not what you should do to organically grow the player base. The first thing that you should do after the tutorial is direct players to the collection, so that they're taken to the deck editor and they're taught how to add and unadd cards, so that they can make changes to both the main deck and the spirit deck before they get placed on the ladder. Ideally, you'd also have a similar system to Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, where you have a ladder for loner and structure decks, a ladder for casual play, and the ranked ladder. And either you would put the people who just finished the tutorial against each other in the loner category, or in the casual category, and not directly into ranked. There's also just a lack of content to do in Clash right now. I would love if we had a draft mode for the newest boxes, or a cube format that would give players who really like Limited a place to shine and explore cards that don't make the cut and constructed play. I'd also like something like a Pauper in Magic the Gathering or a Master Duel NR style format that gives those lower impact cards a home to play since they probably don't make the cut and constructed. The other glaring issue with Clash is that the game doesn't update as fast as the paper game does. As I said in the previous video, there are staples that are played currently that are missing from the client, when Clash was always supposed to be the most played meta cards, so that it was as close to paper as possible. The fact that I don't have access to every card that was played in the last 3 premiere events is so frustrating, and it leads to me not wanting to use the platform over ClashNet, or just proxying the cards and playing webcam games to practice. But I think the other big thing that also goes hand in hand with that is that Clash is still only available on Steam, and I think that's a huge drawback to be able to A, add new players, and B, be able to play more Elestrals when I'm on the go. I take public transportation to work, and I have a lot of downtime where I'm on the light rail or I'm on a bus that I could be running a couple Clash games, but I'm just like sitting there playing Balatro instead since I have no real way of playing Elestrals on the phone that's user-friendly, and if I wanted to do that, I'd have to look around a laptop with an internet connection just to play a few pickup games. The ladder's been pretty dead overall since it's not a representation of what the game is in paper still, and I feel like even on PC I'm waiting upwards of 25 minutes to even find a game. I think we could solve this if we had community-ran Clash events, but the lack of a spectator mode in private lobbies means that streaming the game or making content within Clash is like pulling teeth, when it should be one of our easiest avenues to make community content to grow the game naturally. And I think that's a pretty good jumping off point for the second thing that I believe Elestrals is lacking right now. Number 2. There's not enough push to get other big TCG content creators to try Elestrals. Bar the Elastronauts, MBT, Caster's Corner, and the few of smaller creators who are trying to make content for the game, there's just so much dead air on YouTube, and there's practically no one on Twitch. I think the one thing Konami and WotC are doing way better than the Elestrals team right now is giving TCG channels spoilers that are exclusive to their channel, product to showcase what's coming up and what the pack opening experience is like, and partnering with bigger creators in the space so that there's more eyes overall in the game. We need content at all levels. We need someone like a Ruxin34 for the collector side, where pack opening is the heart of the channel, and the competitive content that MBT tries to bring on his Elestrals channel whenever he remembers the password. If you're a caster and you've thought about making content, I please encourage you to. We need more players to also be creators to help spread the game we love through social media. Otherwise, this game's going to stagnate and Elestrals won't be able to gain a foothold compared to the top 4 right now. If we had more content that people engaged with, more stores would be less resistant to giving Elestrals a shot, and it is our best shot at supporting Elestrals that isn't just financially. And I think that's a good point to transition into the third big thing we need. Number 3, we need it to be easier to have players to become store ambassadors. I won't leak our conversation on Discord, but talking to Hat in private, I brought up the point that when I was a Pokemon professor, I used to run our Pokemon League out of a local library. And similarly, I used to run our Super Smash Bros. Melee local out of a donut shop. I think limiting being an ambassador and making it so that only LGSs have ambassadors is holding Elestrals back, especially in areas that don't have an accessible game store near them. I understand from what Hat told me that they aren't resistant toward having non-local game stores in the mix of places to run Play.Elestrals events, but the reason they focus on brick and mortar stores specifically is because of them being a direct wholesaler for the product. It would be easy to take advantage of small companies in good faith with the current scalper culture, where they could get their hand on product and sell promos meant to go to players on Whatnot or other similar platforms. I do understand that's an issue they have to contest. My idea would be that if a public location like a library would be willing to let us use their space, they would have to provide proof the event organizers are doing what they're set out to and providing price support for the players accordingly. It would make it harder for scalpers to take advantage of the players who are trying to curate a real community. This would help those in a similar situation to where I am, where local game stores are hesitant to provide a space for players to play to invest in the product, and organically grow their players to a point where an LGS could see that they might be worth investing into. But those are just my thoughts. If you have any other ideas that you think would help our current situation, leave a comment, as I want this to be an open discussion for the community, to try and make Elestrals as big as we can from our end, to be able to have more places to play the game we love. Thank you everybody for watching. If you like this video, consider subscribing, as it'll help my goal of trying to reach 5,000 subs by the end of the year. I've been Sevilla, and I'll see you in the next video.